France, a country known for romance, wine, bread, and making you feel personally responsible for speaking English. Now, when most people think of France, they imagine the Eiffel Tower, people walking through cobblestone streets holding baguettes, and a man named Jean Pierre aggressively smoking outside the cafe at 8 a.m. And surprisingly, that's basically correct. I've been living in France for 2 years while studying, which means I've now unlocked several important cultural experiences. Being ignored by waiters, accidentally ordering raw meat, and losing arguments I don't understand. Now, one thing you notice immediately about France is that everyone walks everywhere. In North America, people drive 3 minutes to buy milk. In France, people will walk 11 kilometers uphill carrying groceries and a small dog, because apparently owning functioning legs is part of the national identity. You'll see old grandmothers casually speed walking through narrow streets at Mach 3 while you slowly die behind them like an asthmatic tourist. And somehow, everyone looks healthy, probably because the average French citizen burns 4,000 calories daily through walking, smoking, and arguing. Now, naturally, when moving to France, most people want to visit Paris, specifically the Eiffel Tower, which is genuinely impressive, massive, majestic, historic, and surrounded by some of the most efficient scammers on planet Earth. The moment you arrive, approximately 17 people approach you offering friendship bracelets, fake signatures, tiny Eiffel Towers, or financial ruin. At one point, a man walked directly towards us holding golden keychains like he was initiating a side quest. And somehow, every interaction begins with, "Hello, my friend," which immediately tells you this person is absolutely not your friend. Mainly because every movie ever made has convinced us Paris is magical, romantic, and filled with accordion music, which is basically true, but it's also loud, crowded, aggressively confusing, and spiritually exhausting. Paris also operates on a very simple social system. If you speak French, you are a citizen. If you don't, you become an environmental inconvenience. I learned this immediately after entering the metro station, because naturally, I had no idea where I was going. So, I approached a woman working there and asked in English, bonjour, excuse me, do you know which train goes to? And before I could finish, she pointed towards the bathroom and started speaking very aggressively in French. Now, I don't speak fluent French, but I'm fairly certain she either gave me instructions, insulted my bloodline, or suggested I end things immediately. Statistically, all things were possible. The Paris metro itself is also fascinating, because it feels less like transportation and more like a psychological endurance test designed by philosophers. Every station smells slightly different, none of the smells are good, and every train contains one exhausted businessman, 3 tourists holding maps upside down, 2 musicians, and a man screaming at geometry. Completely normal. Then there's Marseille, which is located in the south of France and somehow feels like an entirely different country. Paris feels like judgment, anxiety, and administrative paperwork. Marseille feels like somebody built a city using sunlight, football, and an unresolved criminal activity. The city has this old-timey coastal atmosphere that looks weirdly cinematic, like if Disney movies had scooters, fishing boats, and a guy named Kareem trying to sell you cigarettes. The architecture is beautiful though. Half the buildings look historically important, the other half look one strong breeze away from becoming history. Now, Marseille also has a reputation, mostly involving crime, drugs, and people speaking at volumes normally associated with military operations. And after visiting, yeah, you can kind of feel it. There's this constant energy that suggests something illegal is happening nearby, not necessarily to you, but around you, somewhere at all times. Yet, despite this, Marseille is strangely charming. People are louder, people are more direct, and somehow everything feels more alive. It's chaotic in a way that feels almost organized, like everyone collectively agreed. Things may collapse at any moment, but we're gonna have a cigarette first. Outside the cities though, France becomes absurdly beautiful. Tiny villages, old stone streets, mountains, vineyards, random castles for absolutely no reason. You'll be taking a train and suddenly see a medieval fortress sitting on a hill like, yeah, we still have that. Meanwhile, my hometown has a Walmart, emotional damage, one abandoned KFC. France also has a unique relationship with time. Nothing happens when you need it. Nothing closes consistently, and every important government process requires 17 documents, 3 appointments, and spiritual perseverance. At one point, I needed a residence document, which involved waiting for months, printing forms that already existed digitally, and entering a government building that looked like a Cold War bunker. The employee looked at my paperwork for approximately 4 seconds before saying, "No, no explanation, just no." An incredible country. So, after living in France for 2 years, what have I learned? France is beautiful. France is frustrating. France is somehow both. extremely modern and permanently stuck in 1847. The food is amazing, the scenery is incredible, the trains are usually late, and every conversation feels slightly confrontational. But eventually, you start to understand the rhythm of the place. You walk more, you complain more, you develop strong opinions about bread, and one day you realize you've accidentally become French, which is terrifying.